Thanks. So the Storyteller project. A little of background. So when my son was little, he enjoyed listening to my stories. So no, he enjoyed books as well, but the stories, that was something that I could always do. Like anytime, if we would go somewhere, like on a bus, on a bike, there's some time that you just don't use, and when you fill that gap, it feels so good. It was very special, and we enjoyed it very much. And that was him. And by the way, behind him, you see a hand, and that's the hand of my other son. He's in the audience. Yeah. But okay, so this is Rafi, and when his friends were near, and I just noticed that it's generally about children that sometimes they enjoy listening to the stories. And what was special about that is that these stories were about him, about things that he likes, his favorite characters, some nice things that he liked to do. So it was very special. There was this special connection that you get with a child. An idea, let kids have their own personalized illustrated fairy tales. That's a cool idea, and that I had. I thought it might be a good. So the model, parents come to someone like me and ask to make some story for their kids, like illustrated. They tell me something about him, like what he likes to do, like favorite animal and stuff, and then I assemble and make it. But as I said, that never happens for various issues. It would be either too expensive, and it's certainly not scalable because it's only me, and there might be some drawing skill issues that I have. I'll just show you a couple of my drawings. It's not very bad, but it's not very good either. It's not kid stuff, Like I can draw some rabbits, but they're mainly this very niche thing. Although I enjoy it very much, that's what I like. So, but the world changed in 2022, and maybe a little bit earlier, but it became a people's tool available. So AI, from being like not really available to everyone for use, it was available for everyone. And then, the timeline is just as follows. There was a Stable Diffusion, that's for image generation, and now it's the video on high, but back then it was photos. And the ChatGPT in November, so I was very enthusiastic. Oh, and when OpenAI released their APIs, that was even cooler. It means you can really start programming something, and then, that was me. I do a refresh. Let's use AI for that. For the 3 points, like the skill issue, it can take away, the scalability it can take away, and the price, because if you automate it, it doesn't have to be so costly. And this is what I did. It took me a couple of years to, from getting just having this idea to actually doing it. And it's now made, and it's available MIT licensed. I'll show you that like at the end. But the target audience is parents with kids and LLM enthusiasts, people who just like to experiment and play. This was, by the way, generated from one of these images. I was part of a story. The tech. We're on a tech conference. So for this project, by the way, it's not just a project, it's also a package. So you can pip install it. Like if you like it very much, you can also write your favorite GUI like PyQt. Now the interface is Marimo, which is great, but it's not your native app experience. And I'll share these slides later, so you don't have to take a lot of pictures. So you can actually pip install it, and you can build other product on it. It's OpenAI for or local LLMs. I enjoy using local LLMs like a lot, so whenever I can, I try not to use any cloud LLMs unless it's really necessary. It's also more environmental. have that in mind. So it's GPT-OSS for and Gemma 3N, which is amazing model for story writing. I use it for local story writing. It surpasses GPT-OSS like by multitude. It creates wonderful stories at a fraction of the cost in terms of time. It's a Flux or Nano Banana. It's amazing what Google achieved with image generation. Or you can also use local LMs like SDXL for text to image. LangChain for most of the LM related stuff. LangGraph for the tool feature, and FastMCP for MCP stuff. Let's go into the demo. And so it exists in 4 different kind of sub-apps. One of them is Storyteller, and I'll explain what the differences are. So the purpose is create illustrated stories from scratch. And the features, it's controllable character description with optional text, image to text, so we can provide an image. The LLM will classify it and include it as a character, add it to the character attribution. You can choose an artistic style, preview the text on image prompts, and as a final result, you will get PDF and docx. So if you want to print it, you can do that and give it to a child as a present. This is the interface. I will not run live demo because it takes about 5 minutes per book to be generated. But this is how the internet looks, how this interface looks. This is name, age, some character. Who is this? Like, is it a cat? Is it a dwarf? Is it a child? And then you append a character like this, and then you go to the next step. You draft the story here. You choose artistic style. But let me start actually with a recorded demo of this, and you will see it for yourself. Let's play. So this is what I basically do. It's going to be a story about a girl named Luna, who is 9-year-old, and her favorite pet is a cat, and her cat Dorothy, who is 3-year-old, and she's a bit smaller than Luna. And so I'm adding here as a character. Oh yeah, what she likes to do. Adventures, and I think I said she likes butterflies and pancakes. And let's see, where do we get from here? Yeah, pancakes. So I'm adding here the character, and I'm going to the next step, which is the story. So this is a draft story that I had here, and I'm going to choose the surrealism of style. Yeah, and I'm going to create a story. So what is now being done at this point? So based from this story prompt, which is like initial prompt, there is a lot more happening in the background. Like I have this super prompt, which crafts the initial prompt into something like this. But then visually, the key moments are extracted from the story. The story is created. There's a story. By the way, this is using Merriman Notebook, which is awesome tool. I gave a talk about it previously, but it works really well. And we're now into the step 3 for generate images. And like you could also preview all your prompts, and if you're happy with it, you proceed. And now I'm using FAL AI. It's for image generation. They have, it's a cloud version, but it's not very expensive. I still prefer like local things. I'll show you the local stuff that I'm doing. And what you finally get is this kind of PDF. These are the preview of the stories for development, and this is the PDF that you get. I think I will increase the font, and yeah, this is the quality that you can get. And I think it's just amazing, that the story and the quality of images is fascinating that everyone can do that. And you also get to download the docx version. So if you slightly want to change something, you can still do that, and can still print it out as a book. So that's for the Storyteller. It's just one part of it. Yeah, I think the video ends here. Yeah, some attribution. If you don't like it, you can remove the Storyteller. There's no copyright. It's you own everything. And let's see. Let's go to the next demo, which is a story illustrator. So the purpose is to illustrate existing stories. So if you have ever written a story, or you have a story that you want to illustrate, you can just supply that story. and then simply have it illustrated, like similarly to the first one. But then there's one step less. And I'm asking to generate a story about this. And again, this is not a pre-recorded demo. And I'm going to show it. So that's the story. I choose a style. I love Gustav Klimt. And so I decided to generate images in his style. And LLM is starting to work. So one of the challenges that I had is to achieve consistent characters. And nowadays, the Google Snana Banana, they did something like that so that you can have consistent characters. I haven't looked at it. I'm planning to. But this works pretty much with every, this approach. It works with every kind of image generate because you simply take the characters, extract the characters, you assign some parameters to them, and you supply them these characteristics to every prompt that you get. And in that way, if you supply as well the seed, like the random seed, but then consistent seed through all your image generations, then your images, if you have also artistic style provided, then they will be more or less consistent. So you won't see a lot of deviations. And this is, I could mistaken it for Gustav Klimt's real works. And so it's a story, I think, about Luna and her cat, and there's even some neighbor whose pumpkins they destroyed. It's really funny. I read the story. I'll post it in a repository. You'll see. This is my favorite story so far. I mean, it's the LLMs. The quality can be varying, but this was really a gem. These are the images. And again, you get to download the PDF and docx too. I don't think there's much else to show here. I'll go forward. You can also use it. I mean, now it's 25. We're using tools and MCPs. And I thought it would be useful to do something like that as well. So there's also the MCP part. And it's all like in this pip installable package that you can get. The same purpose, slightly different. Like I said, this is the default demo. This is demo for MCP. And I'm going to play it, and hopefully I will have time to show some code and give you some tips as well. So this is the chat application I'm running in my shell. And I provide a story. And by the way, with this tool, I used a long graph. That's in general, this tool and tooling and MCP is quite dangerous if you think, because if you allow your LLM to decide which tool to use, they can go bananas. If you imagine that if you're implementing some RAG and you get some data which is not supposed to be exposed by any means, and you have search. If you don't restrict your LLM to use search in the same step where after they use RAG, they might post some sensitive data to the search engine that you were instructed model to use. So in many cases, you should avoid such things. So be mindful. And with long graph, you see a lot of debugging stuff, and you can also program the node. So I will not be covering it advancedly here, but if you're using tool, take a look into the line graph because it's safer that way. Let's see, and what you get is this PDF. So you haven't seen it, but probably that well. But at the end, you get URLs, and when you click on the URL, you get to the PDF, to the result of this thing, of your operation. And it's a story again about in Cubism. I really like the quality. This was by the way generated with a local image generator. This is no cloud. There's no cost. Using draw things. It's something that runs on macOS. And I'll go with the next one, and that's MCP. Again, similarly to the tool, but then you use MCP for that. And that's another recorded demo, and after that I'll give you some tips. So I'm starting my MCP server, and I'm using what I'm using here is it's called Chatbox AI. If you're developing MCP applications, I think this is an absolute must to use because it's very developer friendly. It allows you to connect to servers with. It's very intuitive. What's happening here? I'm just pasting it in a chat, and I have MCP tool connected. If you see that blue key, my MCP tool is connected. So I give it a prompt, and then the LLM, which is GPT-OSS, it analyzed that prompt, and it identified that my story tool, MCP tool, should be used. And it's passed the creation of the images to Draw Things. Draw Things is it's an application. You can run it on Mac, and it's very fast. And you have this preview, which is a very nice thing to do. And especially if you're in your creative process of creating book. So the advantage of it is that all these images, they remain in Draw Things. And if you later on don't like one of the images, you can go back to your Draw Things and regenerate the image from exactly the same prompt, with no orchestration, nothing, just your own machine. And because you are given this docx file, you can also replace these images there if you don't like some of them. So it's now the Draw Thing. It's passed the implementation to the Draw Thing. And Draw Thing also, by the way, it has, I'm controlling it via the API. It has an auth API. One of the advantages is that you don't have to use any other diffusers and the models. You don't download them twice. Just you have them in Draw Things, and that's it. It works. Yes. So I think the story part is generated already. This is, by the way, in Art Nouveau style. I love that one as well. And now the tool is still thinking, because it now has to process the result, because I instructed it. So documentation is essential to both tools. So your code documentation is essential to both tools and your MCP tool. So an LLM, based on the structs that I provided, it understood that it has to process the real URLs and give me the result. And this is the result generated. Again, a nice story. How much time do I have left?
12 minutes.
12 minutes, great.
No,
That's 10, okay.
7.
Yep. Yeah. Great. So this is the tool, and I think it's brilliant. It has made a very good job of creating a story about Luna and Jasper. Let's continue. Yeah, so as I said, the LLM correctly understood from this JSON that it should extract the docx and PDF and offer it as a download. Now the tips. Use a strong model for orchestration. So if you planning to use tools or MCP, so the model that should be orchestrating it should be strong, because often your two arguments are non-trivial. System will need to understand correctly how to parse them, and it also needs to understand from the many tools available which one is to use best according to the prompt provided. Otherwise, what might happen is that if your LLM is not good, then it has to do many retries, which still cost you money, and the latency of application increases, your cost increase, and then your user get frustrated. But GPT-OSS is really good at it. If you're running things locally, I suggest that one to use as a model for orchestrating stuff. Use the right model for the right task. For the story generation for locally, I'm using Gemma 3N, which is a couple of times smaller than GPT-OSS. It's a non-thinking model. It produces results really quickly for the fraction of the time GPT, and results are far better. And but anyway, experiment for the best outcome. So try to spend your time experimenting with different models, because some LLMs, they are better than the others. So if you want to have best results, you should do that, and you should make like a habit of every couple of months just run some evaluations. And so if you even write some tests, it would help you. So doc strings are wanted. It's a must-have tool for MCP. Otherwise, the system will not understand what you're actually trying to do. So without the excellent doc strings, LM will not know what you're asking. It will be failures, more expensive, increased latency, bad user experience. There are also some extremely good tools for MCP. MCPO. The purpose is it provides convenient Open API Swagger experience, and this is how it looks. I mean, I pointed this MCPO to my MCP tool, and it generated this from it. And I mean, this is just another MCP server for fake data, and you can just you click here, and then you see the parameters that you need to provide, and you can play with it. And it's this one doesn't have a parameter, but maybe this one has. So you see, these are the parameters, and it's very useful. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing. And this is just another for the storyteller. And you see this part, like generate fully illustrated story, and well, the rest of all the parameters explained. So this part is a doc string of your MCP function, and it's crucial. You cannot simply avoid that. Doc strings are a must nowadays. Otherwise, it just won't work. And there's another excellent tool, which is MCP Inspector. This is the first-class citizen for the MCP. That's like this. The creators of the protocol, the maintainers of the protocol, they created this tool, and which works in a similar way. So you connect to the different MCP server. And by the way, I'm using FastMCP, and one great thing about it is that it's an official tool. So you don't actually do MCP just with FastAPI on your own, because then you lose all the benefits of the frameworks. But what FastMCP offers is all the different protocols, the transport protocols that you can use, like streaming HTTP, the old server-side events, or even SRIO, which is great. So don't use other tools. Don't make them. And you see that you can just list the tools, and there's this Create Story bundle, again explained. You can play with it, you can experiment with it, you can validate if it works. And there's also Chatbox AI, which I'm going to show you. You've seen it in the presentation, but again, a very useful one. Just chat, and I'm starting a new chat. You can connect your tools, and you can have the whole conversation. It's very developer friendly. Like in settings, you have these different providers configured. So when you have CP part, you have this different configurations. It's very, very easy to use, very convenient. I very much recommend using it as a development. And yeah, do you like it? So this is the project, and it's open source, MIT licensed. These are the creators. By the way, I created this together with a colleague of mine. This project is not anyhow affiliated to Spring and Nature, where I work. It's just a hobby project, but I created it with a colleague of mine, an amazing guy there, Richardson. A lot of thanks for him. So if I do, how much time do I have for questions?
5 minutes for questions.
5 minutes. So,
5 minutes for questions. Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Let's see. Yeah.
Thank you for your talk. Well, the first question is, why using forms to define the characters? I mean, it's better to kind of use like free-form text where you can put everything that's important, like how character speaks, which lesson has it learned.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is just an interface.
Is it not limiting? I mean,
yeah, of course. I mean, but this is just developer interface. And yeah, I thought about it too. I totally agree. There should be some free field and free place where you can add additional information to your character. But it's not like we don't have it. You can have it, but it's the first version.
I mean, it's kind of fun when the character keeps developing, like with every story, because your kid will learn this character by heart, and well, you kind of keep all the previous adventures, all the previous like lessons learned in the character sheet, and then reapply it in the next story.
Yeah, exactly. That's why new GUI is planned. There's I mean, you can work on it if you want.
It's open source.
Open source, MIT.